This past week, I did a little light spring cleaning just to get the ball rolling for that. And I was cleaning out my props, getting rid of some things that I don't really need to hang on to anymore. They've served their purpose. And while I was doing that, I stumbled upon some old prints from work that I did a few years ago. Holding these prints again was a very interesting moment. It sparked some emotions that I didn't expect them to. When I held these photos, I didn't feel the same excitement as I did whenever they first came in. I found that I didn't resonate as much with these photos anymore. That feeling of this disconnection with my work, with my older work, didn't stop there. I also found this feeling occurring when I was working on a recent project, and I hinted at it in my most recent video. And that project is one that's reminiscent of work that I did when I first started taking on client work. It was very interesting to revisit a project on that level. My style has just evolved so much over the years. I have a different color palette that I've drawn to. My older work was very colorful and saturated and vibrant and poppy, and I feel like my work now is very inspired by film and the colors and tones that come from movies as well as old film photos. So they're a bit more, there's still color in them, but it's different. It's not as in your face. It's a bit more toned down. So it was a very fun challenge working on those photos, and admittedly I struggled a little bit, but I ended up being really proud of what I made because I didn't have to rely on my old skill set. I was able to adapt my new style and skills to fit that project, and I'm very proud of the outcome. But this disconnect has just left me thinking about this feeling for the whole week, and I just want to talk about that today. I don't know if I missed something, but I haven't really seen anyone talk about this. I've heard other artists talk about how they are, discontinuing a certain print from their print shop because it's just really old and they no longer want to sell it, they don't feel connected to it anymore, but they don't really dive into the emotion that goes behind that. I want to start this conversation with a preface of saying that I'm not hating on my old work. When I look at some of my old photos, I still think that they're quite good and I'm still proud of them. I just don't feel like they resonate with me as much as they did back then. And I think that's just part of art. Some art resonates with people and some art just doesn't. And that's just part of the experience of art. I will be the first person to tell you that my art is not trying to say something groundbreaking. I'm not trying to make a statement with my art. When I take photos, I set out to just take a beautiful photo. I want people to feel beautiful about themselves. I want them to have a beautiful piece of artwork to display in their home. I want to post a beautiful photo to social media, and that's about it. I feel like there's more of a personal connection when I do client work, and that's honestly all I strive for. And that has been true for my work 5 years ago, and that is true for my work today. 5 years ago, my style again was very colorful and had a lot of influence from anime and Harajuku and Japanese street style. And I know that today a lot of my inspiration comes from French New Wave and vintage fashion and antique interior design. And this is where I start to feel a disconnect from my older work compared to my newer work, because when you put them side by side, they look a little different. And that's just a part of growth and feeling inspired by new things when admittedly I'm a bit jaded on the things that originally inspired me. Having been exposed to these new things like French New Wave, they're shiny and new to me. I also know that I am someone who, when I express myself, I have to do it through everything. I can't just get all of that feeling out through my artwork. I have to surround myself with it. So over the past few years, my wardrobe and how I dress has completely changed. My choice of interior design has completely changed because they're all influenced from the media that I'm enjoying, the movies and the film photos that I look at. And it's just very different from the person who I was a few years ago. And I've talked about this feeling before, about this like second puberty that you come about in your 20s, when you kind of figure out who you are as an adult and you feel disconnected from who you were as a teenager. I think this is just another level of that. And I think it's also really interesting that you can see where that shift started. And when that shift started, I had a but I had a little bit of a, I don't know who I am anymore and I don't like it moment. But now I'm more comfortable in the fact that I'm changing and still working out changing. You can't change your wardrobe overnight. You shouldn't change your wardrobe overnight. And your art isn't going to change overnight. If it does, you're probably not being your true authentic self. While I don't feel this personal heavy connection to my older photos, I appreciate them so much. Again, there are so many of them that I still love today and I would still share today that I'm super proud of. And there are some that were super fun for the moment and I don't feel as proud of. I've made some bad work in the past. My older work from years ago has allowed me to experiment and explore and learn different skills and techniques, and a lot of those I've been able to hone over the years and have made my creative workflow streamlined. And I've also been able to pick up new tricks here and there that work a lot better than what I was doing years ago. And where I'm currently at on my creative journey is such an exciting spot to be in because I don't feel comfortable. I feel like I'm learning so much, and I love to learn. I love it. I love to learn because I feel like once I struggle with something for a little bit, and that moment where you finally get it, you level up. And I love that feeling of growth and accomplishment. And it's a feeling that I felt I hadn't had in a while. So I'm really savoring where I'm at right now and enjoying exploring these different avenues of inspiration that I found myself falling into, and just going deeper down those rabbit holes and just allowing those things to teach me so that way I can further develop my eye, because my eye with film photography has a long way to go, and that's okay. I'm so excited. I got a new camera and I'm so excited to shoot on it, and I have a Polaroid that I'm making plans to shoot on, which is silly, I know, but I'm so excited to do it because it's a square composition and there's just so much fun to be had with that. I feel so rejuvenated in this creative overflow. I was just ready to burst from the seams. For now, that's all I have to gush about on this topic of feeling disconnected from your work. And I hope that if you are feeling any sort of disinterest in your artwork, that you just kind of take the time to reflect on that a little bit. I feel like it's important to be a little introspective with yourself as artists, and it's also important to talk about that with someone, so that way you're not cooped up in your noggin going crazy. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, especially if you stuck around to the end. I feel like this video was a little bit of a script and a little bit of stream of consciousness, but that's how I tend to do things over here. But if you would like to see more, go ahead and subscribe, do all that YouTube jazz, and I will see you next time. Have a super lovely day. Bye. Thank you.